tabletop pose to make use of our time right away. And we'll do like what's called some scapular push-ups to start. And that will start to warm up the upper body a little bit more and like allow us to become a little more aware of where we might be holding tension, especially in between the shoulder blades. So once you're on hands and knees, just get yourself nice and comfy there. And to do scapular push-ups, right, nothing else really moves. Like you stay in neutral. We're not like rounding the spine so much. We're just staying in neutral. And then I want you to think about your chest just sinking down, nothing else really changing, right? And then as you sink your chest down, your arms stay long, right? So you're not bending to get your chest lower. You're going to keep your arms as they are. You'll let the weight of your chest just sink down. And as a result, you'll start to feel your shoulder blades almost touch or come closer together. And then, so that's your down, right? Much easier than a regular push-up, in my opinion. And then think about the back of your upper back, right? Like if the part that you would almost round up if you were going to do cat. I mean, to stay in neutral, but think about lifting that space right in between your shoulder blades up, just to come up to like an active neutral, we'll call it. So that's your high point. So sink back down, shoulder blades touch. It might even feel like a little squeeze. That might even feel really good. And then press into your hands. Don't round, but think about lifting the back of your heart. Excellent. Do 2 more like that. Sink down, press up. See if you can even engage the belly a little bit as you find this movement. Awesome. And then come to like an easy neutral. Start to walk your hands up and you'll come up onto your knees and then take a few shoulder rolls here. So active, drawing the shoulders up, back, down, maybe go the opposite direction. Just start to like rinse all of that out. Get a little more movement in the shoulders and then take your hands in front of you. So I want you to do almost the same sort of thing like you were on hands and knees, these scapular push-ups. But imagine that as you start to draw your shoulder heads back, the arms stay straight. You start to squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit more. It's a little more active. And then can you press your hands forward? Do that 2 more times. Draw the shoulder heads back, squeeze the shoulder blades together a little more, and then press your hands forward. So it's almost like just your arms, like from your socket, shoulder socket, out to your hands is moving. Nothing else really changes at all. So just warming up that area. And then take your arms down along your sides. Take a shrug of the shoulders, roll them out. And then reach your hand up, your right hand up towards the sky, up alongside your ear, your arm comes. And then take your hand behind you a bit. Just do like a little bit of a, we'll call it like a large circle. Tracing a circle with that hand. And then switch directions. Go back, up, forward, and down. Just about 3 circles on each side. And then you'll switch. Left hand up, reach it back, down, creating that like range of motion here about 3 times. And then switch. Awesome. And then come back to hands and knees. And take your legs one at a time. You'll take them, just give your knees a break here. Take one leg back, press back through the heel, get a stretch through the calf muscle. And then you'll come back and the opposite. So nice. And then you'll come back. Now walk your hands up your thighs again and just step your right foot forward. Hopefully that feels okay. Wherever you want to land, doesn't have to be a huge lunge here. Just start to reach your hands up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in. And then start to drop your right hand down along your side. Drape your left forearm right over top of your head. And then just start to tip over to the right. Think about lifting up through the elbow. If you want, you can even grab onto that elbow and create a little bit more space in the left side. Nice. And then you'll come up. Take your hands down inside that foot. Now tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, and then trace the long edge of your mat. Just fold forward in a wide leg forward fold here. Now it's early for your hamstring, so whether you start to like take a little movement side to side, that sometimes feels really nice. You can let your head drop. I'm not going to do that too much because I got a lot of sinus pressure. May not be able to talk if I do so. So you can even just take, I like to find a little bit of movement here just to lengthen out the inside seams of both legs. Excellent. And then start to walk your hands up to fingertips here and find almost like a flat back if you can. Your knees can, of course, stay bent. And then bring your heels in, your toes out, and start to bend your knees even more like you're coming into a squat. And then you'll lift your chest up. So it doesn't have to be like the deepest squat ever. Just take your feet a little wider. And then think about lifting your chest here and then bring your hands to your thighs for support. And so something we can do here is a little bit more of a shoulder stretch, right? So start to drop your left shoulder forward. I'm going to think about dipping your left shoulder forward here. And then maybe look over to your right. Look over your right shoulder, maybe to your right elbow. And just see what happens there. And then come back to neutral. Now do the opposite. Dip your right shoulder forward. You can even lengthen. I like to lengthen that right arm to really get that shoulder forward and then look over to your left. Excellent. Now stand up, parallel the feet if you can. Reach the hands up overhead. Take a deep breath in. Interlace your fingers and press your palms up towards the sky. Look up towards your hands if you can here. Excellent. Take one more breath in. And then find warrior two facing the front of your mat. You'll turn your right toes forward. You'll bend your right knee. Your arms can be long or soften the elbows. So if your arms go long and you feel like that creeps in tension in your trap muscles, like your shoulder muscles, I want you to soften the elbows. Think about drawing the shoulder blades a little bit more together onto your back. Make that the goal. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Excellent. Now straighten both legs. Parallel the feet again. And then fold forward. Returning your hands to the ground. Bending your knees if you need to. Maybe bending one knee, straightening the other. And then shifting. You're not here too long. Now see your right foot. Turn your toes forward. All 10 toes turn forward. And then you'll drop that left knee. Coming back into a lunge, reach the arms up. Big breath in. Now, while you're here, I want you to take your right hand to the top of your head and then let that hand almost like come over to the left side of your skull a bit. Not all the way over to your ear, but just let it glide down. And then I want you to think about pressing your head into your hand and then either staying there, keeping that sort of like pressing action. Maybe you start to tip your right ear over to the right. So your head tips over to the right. So it's an active way to stretch out the side of the neck. Maybe start to move your head around. So it's not so much about pulling down, like that hand pressing down. You are just a bit guiding your head down, but you're also pressing your skull back up into your hand. Not too much. Be a little gentle with it if you can. And then release. Come back to neutral. Right knee comes to meet your left. Hands come to the ground. Tabletop pose for a moment. And then take a breath in to find cow pose. And then a breath out to round into cat. Should feel really nice. Drop your head. And then do that one more time. Cow pose. Cat pose. Come back to neutral. Walk your hands up your thigh. Step your left foot forward. Coming into that lunge. You'll reach your hands up. Big breath in. Now drop your left hand down. Your right forearm. Let it drape just on top of your head. Just like rest right there. Your fingers can even rest. And then think about starting to lean your torso over to the left here. Your right elbow reaches up higher towards the ceiling. So nice. You'll come back up for a breath in. Maybe even reach both hands high. And then bring your hands down inside your left foot. To then tuck your back toes, lift your knee. Trace the long edge of your mat and you get to forward fold here. Your choice. Again, either movement, bending one knee then the other, or bending both knees and then letting the weight of your head kind of just sink down. You can even shake out your head yes and no. This is also a good opportunity if you're folding forward, just letting your head drop, to let gravity, I always say this, but let gravity do a little bit of work for you. So the weight of your head can just be heavy. We spend so much time with it right on top of our spine. Here you get a chance to invert and do the opposite. And whenever you're ready, walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Think like a flat back here. You might even heel toe your feet just a little bit closer to bring your heels in, your toes out. Bend both knees. Lift the chest up, finding this sort of squat position. Doesn't have to be your lowest squat. Now take your hands to the top of your thigh. See if you can straighten both arms here as you lift the chest. And we're going to do what we did before, but this time it's the right shoulder that dips forward. And then look over to the left. Come back up. Dip your left shoulder forward. See if you can keep that left arm long, straight, and then look over to the right. So you do bend that right elbow, right, to make that twist happen. And then you'll come up. Parallel the feet for a moment. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a big breath in. Interlace the fingers above your head. Again, press up towards the ceiling. Look up towards your hand. Now, I want you to stay here. Look forward. Bringing the arms out like a T. Palms facing forward here. Now, start to turn your thumbs down, palms behind you. Bring the arms down along your sides. Bend the elbows and place one hand on top of the other. Or if you're starting to feel warm here, stay here. And then start to draw your shoulders back in space, the heads of your shoulders a little further back. And that might just be enough. Think about your elbows drawing back. Without finding this major back bend here, think about it being in your upper chest. Can you draw your shoulders back? Maybe glide your hands closer together and grab wrists or opposite forearms. Not the goal. The goal is to find that openness in your chest. Wherever you land is your option, right? Your body, what your body needs today. Take one more breath in to open up. Maybe even think about lifting the chin slightly. Stay here. Bring your chin down towards your chest. Stay here. Roll your right ear over to the right. Chin back to chest. Left ear over to the left. Chin back to chest. Start to lift the top of your head up. Reach your arms out to the sides and then turn your left toes forward, bend your left knee. Just coming into warrior two, just for a few rounds of breath. You might even bend the elbows or arms stay long. A full breath in, full breath out. One more round. Stay, inhale. Long exhale. Now straighten the legs. Parallel the feet, hands to your hips. Lift your chest on a breath in. Slowly fold forward as you empty out. Now look to your left foot. Frame it. As you come into that low lunge, bend your right knee. Let it drop to the ground. Reach the hands up to the sky. Now drop your right hand down. Take your left hand to the top of your head to start, and then let it glide a bit over to the right. Now press your skull up into your hand first. Find that length through the spine. Keep that sense of pressing up. Then maybe consider tipping your head over to the left. Also a play of balance too. So press down into that front foot a little more if you can. Maybe move the head around a bit to find that sweet spot. We don't want to make it too angry, so be easy, be gentle with it. And then come back up. Release. Left knee comes to meet the right, tabletop pose. And then maybe take a C curve here. So move laterally side to side. And then if you want, cat cows as well. Come back to neutral and make your way to a seat. So as you come to a seat, bring your feet together and your knees out wide, and take your feet a little further away from your seat, right? So almost creating like a diamond shape here. And sit up nice and tall here. Your hands can come to your shins or your knees. Sit up tall on an inhale. Now visualize your low back here. So your sacrum, right? The back of your pelvis. Think about tipping that forward first to create a little more space across the back. Take one more breath in. Think about lengthening up through the spine and then folding forward, rounding once you reach that point. That feels like you're creating space, not pain, right? Just creating a little more space. And take a breath in and out. One more like that. Breathe in and out. And then you start to come up to a seat. Take your legs out in front of you. Give them a shake. Maybe roll the ankles, fan out the toes. Make sure you have enough space behind you, and you'll lie down onto your back and bend your knees. Now, right away, since we just found external rotation, let's find internal rotation. So heel toe the feet a little wider, knock your knees together. And you can bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, or both hands to your belly, to your torso. So again, as you bring your knees together, maybe that provides a little bit more relief in the low back or a little more space. Take a full breath in. Feel your torso expand. Full breath out. Do that 2 more times. Breathe in to expand. Breathe out to empty. One more. Fill up. And empty out. While you're here, keep your feet wide. Separate the knees and let both knees fall over to the right. Just a gentle twist here. And come back through center. Both knees, let them fall over to the left. And back through center. Heel toe your feet so they're in line with your hips, your hip bones, right? And then start to make a figure 4 cross here. So cross your right ankle right below your left knee. And then you can stay right here. This like might be enough, right? But or you could start to take your right hand to your right thigh and almost press that thigh away from you here. And you can stay here. Keep that figure 4 cross. Maybe take the arms out wide like a T. And then let that whole structure in your lower body tip over to the left. So the sole of your right foot comes down. And you look over towards your right fingertips. And a little bit more of a deeper twist here, but can provide a little bit more space in the right side of your low back. And then you'll come back to center, unravel the legs, plant the right foot down, and then make that figure 4 cross with the left leg. Your choice to stay, or left hand can press that thigh almost away from you. And then you can stay here. The arms can come out like a T if you want, and drop that structure over to the right. So the sole of your left foot comes over to the right side. And you're just finding this gentle twist. A little more intense than the first one, right? But you take what you need. Maybe even look over to the left fingers. And you'll come back to center, unravel the legs. Maybe even hug the knees towards your armpits. Maybe a little rock side to side could feel really nice. And then start to set yourself up for a gentle relaxation. So your legs can go long, of course. If you want to bring a pillow underneath your knees, you can. And just to elevate the knees a little more, that can create more space in the sacrum and the low back as you start to become a little more relaxed towards the ground. And then take your arms down along your sides once you're ready. Get yourself nice and cozy. And you can even flip your palms up towards the sky to encourage the collarbones to widen, to open, and then encourage the shoulders to soften. Once you're there, maybe even close the eyes and take a long breath in. Maybe even open up your mouth, letting out a slow sigh or a place of release. And then just a little body scan here. Nice and gentle as you give yourself permission to rest. Bring your awareness to your toes, to the bottom of your feet, and even to your ankle. Allow them to release, to soften, and to relax. And bring your awareness up the legs a bit, so to the calf muscles, up the shins, to the knees. into the hamstrings, and up the quad muscles, all the way up to the muscles surrounding your pelvis, your hips. Allow them all to soften, to release, and to fully relax if you can. And bring your awareness to your belly, and even to your low back, to your mid back, upper back, and to the muscles across your chest here, across collarbones, even the shoulders. Allow your torso here to soften, release, and completely relax. And then the muscles of your arms, upper arms, to your elbows, and to your forearms, to your wrists, and in the center of your palms, down to the tips of your fingers. Allow them to release, to soften, and to relax. And the muscles in the back of your neck, the sides of your neck, even across the front of the throat, to your jaw, the muscles even inside your mouth here, in your tongue, muscles around your eyes, and even the center of your forehead, even the top of your head. Can you let those muscles soften, release, and relax? And in this space where you've given yourself this permission to actively rest, space from your toes all the way out to the top of your head. Can you let your whole body here soften, release, and completely relax? Knowing that, of course, the breath is important, movement also important, but stillness, intentional stillness being just as important. and letting this stillness be part of your practice today. Take a breath in, slow breath out. Maybe a few more like that, just as intentional, just as slow. And using the breath as it builds just a little bit bigger to wake your body up into your fingers and your toes. You might even rock your head gently side to side. And if you'd like here, maybe reach your arms overhead and point your toes forward. Find a long body stretch here. And begin to bend your knees. You'll roll to the side of your choice. Keep your eyes closed or heavy if you can, and bring yourself up to a seat. And once you're there, and sit up nice and tall. You might even bring your hands together in front of your heart. And take the moment to honor yourself for again showing up, for creating a little more space in your breath, space in your body, maybe even a little more space in your mind. You might even choose a word or an intention to fill that space up with. I think you might want to focus on or bring a little bit more into your day, your week, whatever that may be, whether it's breath, patience, kindness, whatever that word might be. See that in your mind. Take a breath in and a breath out. And you might even take your thumb tips to the center of your forehead, lift your face, lift your chin. Letting this practice be a time where you cultivate a little bit more for yourself so you can then share a little more of yourself intentionally with others. Namaste. Happy Monday.